Hi Stampers, it's Judy Anderson with JudiStamps.com. How are you guys all doing today? I'm hoping to inspire your creativity in your everyday stamping and paper crafting through the sharing of projects. So let's get started with opening your window of creativity. Okay, so for today's project we're going to be using the Ride With Me stamp set. And my husband has requested me to make a card, and I didn't know what to do, and last night I was trying to fall asleep and I came up with this idea, and I thought, oh my gosh, this stamp set is going to be perfect for it. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. So what I'm doing is I am using Pineapple Punch card base, measuring 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and we'll just fold that in half. Our next layer is a piece of Granny Apple Green measuring 4 by 5 1/4, and then some Whisper White measured 3 3/4 by 5. Let's get stamping. Okay, we're going to use Memento ink because the Ride With Me stamp set is a photopolymer stamp and we cannot use StazOn with it. So we're going to be coloring this today using our Stampin' Blends. So let's get this guy on here, this little truck on here. Push down, count of 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've got that stamped. Now we're going to start coloring. So for the coloring, I'm going to use the light Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to go over all the spots that I want darker. Okay, so I'm going to be layering the color with the one blend, and by adding layers of color we're going to make dark areas and light areas. Okay, so I've got that. So those are the dark areas. Now I'm going to start and I'm going to go ahead and color over those areas again. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. There you go, so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to go in a circular motion, and I'm just going to pull that color up. Now we're going to have some light spots and some dark spots. So you can tell that I'm just going up just a little bit, not coloring the entire image yet. Okay, and I'm going to go along these areas. So, and I am coloring over what I've already colored. There's not, you know, don't worry if you got light spots and dark spots in here, because when you have your vehicles outside, the sun is hitting them and it causes shadows and highlights. Okay, so that's the first layer. Well, actually the second layer, because the first layer was our dark. Now I'm going to go over everything again and bring that color up a little bit more, and I am going to leave some white spots. Okay, just coloring bigger circles, making sure that I go over what I've already done and just dragging that color out. Now I'm not hitting every spot because once again we've got highlights and lowlights with the sun shining on our little truck. Don't you just love this truck? Reminds me of my pickup truck that I used to have. Okay, so for the bumpers and the chrome, I am going to use light smoky slate because I want them chrome. So I'm just going to go over where I want a little bit darker and just lightly go over your wheel wells. Now you could do your wheel wells the green too, because years ago they did have colored wheel wells that match their truck. They would paint them. Okay, now we're going to do the tires. Now I'm using dark smoky slate for this, and I'm just going to go around the tire. Okay, and then here the same thing, just in a circular motion, just adding color, not worrying if it's solid. As you notice, I've missed some spots, and that's okay. I believe that those missed areas give you your highlights and lowlights of your coloring. Okay, and I'm going over where I want it darker. And the artist has kind of already told you where it's darker and lighter by their lines. Okay, now I don't want that much white here, so I'm just going to go over real light. Okay, that is it for coloring the truck. Now we want to put a little bit of blue in the window because we don't have a white sky. And so I took the light Balmy blue. I'm then going to take Balmy blue ink with a sponge, an ink pad, and wipe it off a little bit, and I am just going to rub across our card base, or our layer base. And you're going to have some lighter spots and darker spots, just like in the sky, forming some clouds. Okay, I'm going to make sure I'm going to hit the bottom too. Although we need to put a row because this truck really can't be flying in the sky. So we're going to take our light crumb cake and make shadows for the truck. I'm going to go all the way up there, but I'm not worried about if it is solid. You notice I just kind of scribble. Now where I want it a little bit darker, I'm going to go back in and add another layer. Okay, so if you're scared of using your blends, using the dark and the light, this is the way to start out with them. Okay, so we got this going. Now we need the fun part. For that, I am going to take the tire image. This tire image is actually for the 3D truck. And this is like the rim. So I'm just going to stamp one of these guys here, and now I've already pre-cut some circles out, or die cut some circles out, and I'm going to go ahead and punch those now too. Okay, while we have that out, I'm going to put these aside. I'm going to take this one and our Big Shot machine, and we are going to cut these out. Now you're probably thinking, Judy, you could use a punch. However, none of our punches are this size, so you do need to use the die for this, or you could fussy cut it. I am using 2 layers. I'm only stamped on 1 layer. I don't need to stamp on both layers. Line this up. I've got the magnetic plate. I've got 1 acrylic plate, a 2nd acrylic plate, and you're just going to wind this through. Oops, sorry. My stand's right there. Okay. I'm going to remove all this stuff. I just noticed that with the zoom in, it's harder to see when I'm die cutting. Okay, so we cut those out. So we have this one and then this one below it. Now I'm going to be taking 2 mini dimensionals, which I just had here, okay, and my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm going to use the paper piercer for this. Pick this up and just put it on the back. I'm putting it on top of the one that I did not stamp on. I'm going to just crease it like that and pick that up. Yep. Now I'm going to take another one and I'm going to put this right on top of that one. It doesn't matter if they line up exactly, you're not going to see it. We are going to take our tire and put it on top. So it's like we have a little spool. Okay, then we have some of our crinkly ribbon and a mini glue dot. And now I have to make sure I wind this up the right way. So I want the tail to be going off to the left, so I'm just going to squeeze it together on the other side so I have an opening here. I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and just press down so that glues onto, sticks to those dimensionals. And I'm just going to wrap this around. Okay, now we've got that wrapped around. I'm going to take another mini glue dot because I don't want this all coming apart, and I'm just going to stick it on the ribbon right here and continue rolling that in there until it sticks. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut it, and it doesn't matter the length that you cut it. Okay, a roll of toilet paper, guys. How fun is that? Okay, but now we need more rolls of toilet paper. So, like I said, I had already cut, and I cut some out, stamped them I've got one I cut in half, so I am going to grab my silicone mat so I don't get adhesive all over. And I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of these rolls. So I've got a half roll there, a half roll here, got a couple full rolls. I don't know how many I'm going to use. I'm just going to put tape on all of them. Okay, so we've got those all taped up. I'm going to move this out a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to put these half rolls like they're coming out of the bed of the truck. Okay, so we've got 2 half rolls here. And then we've got some full rolls, but we want to kind of tuck them underneath there. Oops. Just going to lift this up a little bit. Tape that down. Okay, now with this one that we put the ribbon in, I am going to take some mini glue dots because I don't want to smash it. I'm just going to take 2 mini glue dots and stack that up here. Right like that. Give it a push and look at that. He's driving down the street and he's got the toilet paper flying. Okay, so in the same stamp set, we have a verse that says, "Wishing you loads of Christmas cheer." So I am going to use my black Stampin' Write marker, and I'm going to omit the Christmas. So I'm just going to color all the other words on here using the side of the marker. Oops. Right like that. Okay. Huff it a little bit. Put this up here. Hold it for 3 seconds. And I'm going to put one of these toilet papers up there. I'm going to trim this one because I stamped it off center a little bit. I just don't want that much around it. And we'll put a toilet paper roll there. We're going to go ahead and put some adhesive. Whoops. Our Granny Apple Green. And then we'll attach this onto our Pineapple Punch. And I know my husband wants to put something quirky on the inside, but I am going to grab another piece of Whisper White that measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So he can tell me what he wants on the inside, and I'm going to put a roll of toilet paper on the inside also. So there's our card. Isn't that cute? I love it. So you can find all the merchandise the products that I use today over at JudiStamps.com. You can also look me up on Facebook. I'd love for you to follow me there. I do projects there 3 times a week, as well as YouTube and my blog at JudiStamps.com. I wish you guys a happy day and happy stamping, everybody. Bye-bye.